Hello and welcome to Talk of Good Game. It's a match preview of the match day 2 of the Europa Conference League group stages. West Ham United travel to Silkeborg. Gonzo, as always, can you kick it off with any thoughts you may have on our upcoming opponents, please?
I've got a lot of thoughts on I like to call them Silkeborg, Geo, actually. Well, what can you say about Silkeborg? Apart from the fact they've got a player actually who sounds a little bit like João Felix, but it's not João Felix. They've got Joel Felix, which is a bit like, I think we know when you go and get those Ralph Lauren t-shirts from down the market. It's a bit like one of those, bit Mickey Mouse. So he's not the full ticket. I don't mean up there. He might be perfectly fine. They're doing all right, mate. They're doing 4th in their league at the moment. I think they're only maybe 4 or 5 points off the top. It's patchy form now. They're winning one, they're losing a couple, they're winning one. So, but I mean, it's relatively early days in their season anyway. And obviously they got a defeat in their first game in the group against Anderlecht. I mean, they're not European giants, they're not even Danish giants, to be honest with you, mate. They're relatively small club who've not been in the top division for years and years and years. So, but yeah, I mean, but you always see their name up there, to be fair. It's not like this is the first time they've qualified for European competition. Far from it. So, yeah, but I'm sure they've got some relatively handy players there. I'd be lying if I said knew any of them, no.
Let's start with the facts before we move on to the opinions. As Gonzo said, they lost last week 1-0 away to Anderlecht in the opener of the group stage game. They currently sit 4th in the league with 16 points in 9 games. For a little bit of context, Viborg, who we put out in the playoff rounds, currently sit 3rd in the same league, just ahead of them on 18 points. They do play a 4-3-3 formation. And Gonzo, this morning, I have to confess, I spent about half an hour watching highlights of Silkeborg.
Come on, tell me all about it.
Yeah, they've got one player. I was watching him and I thought, that guy looks all right. He looked okay against Anderlecht as well. And I thought, he looks okay. He's a left-footed right winger, but he's more the style of Riyad Mahrez rather than Jadabona, if that makes sense. Likes to cut in, and he's quite tall as well. Number 27 he was. Anyway, he was looking good. And then I ended up... When you go on and watch on YouTube, it just moves you on to the next video automatically. So it was just taking me from one game to the next game to the next. I just kept watching it. I thought, this guy's popping up a lot, and he's looking good in a lot of the highlights here. I'm thinking, who is this geezer? I had a look. His name is Sebastian Jorgensen, 22-year-old winger. 11 goals and 9 assists in 28 starts last season. So he's pretty productive. But the problem is you have to take a lot of these highlights with a pinch of salt because they're up against other Danish sides, and some of the Danish sides aren't particularly great. And there was a lot of this when you at the very start said Silkeborg. I thought I was watching a little bit of silky football from them actually earlier. They looked quite efficient on the counter attack, but the problem was, you know, I like that phrase: "Show me a goal, I'll show you a mistake by the defense."
Yeah,
I could see a lot of mistakes by the defense. There's like 2 or 3 Silkeborg players running in on the goalkeeper, and you would just do what you would used to be like a sweaty goal on FIFA, where the guy with the ball would pass it past the goalkeeper and you just tap it. There was a lot of that going on, a lot of FIFA goals going on when I seen them play. Their striker, though, Nicolas Helenius, however you pronounce his name, 17 in 29 last season, started this season in good form, 4 in 8 starts as well. But the one player that I thought looked quite good was Stefan Thordsson, who played in centre midfield, number 8. When I was watching it again, he wasn't really scoring or getting the assists, but he'd often play that through ball that played him in behind the defence and stuff. He had quite a nice technique with the ball as well. Defensively, though, they looked quite suspect. At times, they were playing a high line, lots of room in behind. Then when I saw the Anderlecht highlights, they were quite deep, and I thought, well, you don't normally play like that in your league game, do you, from what I can see? So I don't know if they changed it, but they were quite unlucky last week by the looks of things.
Well, and they're a good team, Anderlecht, you know, so
yeah,
they've done all right.
They're all right. I mean, they're a big team, but bear in mind, one of their best players was Josh Cullen, who's now in the Championship. It gives you a barometer.
Yeah, but they've got a lot of good young players there at Anderlecht. They really do. And, I mean, the thing is, as well, they'll have such a massive, higher budget than Silkeborg will as well. Yeah, I mean, I just their style of play, I'm not so sure. I mean, defensively, because they do have the left central defender. He tends to like to bomb forward as well. I mean, he scores a few goals, to be fair. The striker does look handy, you're right, as well. And And yeah, I did notice Jorgensen. I think Jorgensen might have scored the winner in their last game, which is possibly a 1-0 win, actually. Might have scored the winner.
It was crap, though.
Wow, you know.
The keeper could have picked it. The keeper could have literally just picked it up and he laid down. And it's like David De Gea, for the Premier League equivalent, it was David De Gea against Brentford when Da Silva hit it. And all you had to do was just go like that and he'd have caught it. And for some reason, it's gone between his fingers, under his body. It was a horrible goal that they scored at the weekend to win the game. Yes, he scored the goal, but...
Well, fortunately, mate, we don't have any goalkeepers that let the ball pass past them, run past them uncontested. So we should be all right.
Unfortunately for them, there wasn't VAR. There was a couple of decisions in that game last week against Anderlecht. They could have done with VAR on the pitch, actually. There was a goal ruled out to offside where on replay, onside. And of course, Anderlecht, the goal scorer last week, you'll know, Fabio Silva, who was a bit of a flop at Wolves, has gone out on loan to Belgium. He scored from the penalty spot. So anyway, shall we leave it there about them and move on to
Yes, mate. Yes, indeed.
Now, we don't necessarily know much more about West Ham, but we'll chat some random rubbish about West Ham just as much as we do about our opposition. But before we do that, I'd like to point you in the direction of this video sponsors, Spitch. The Premier League is back this weekend. Well, it's going to get a little bit tense on Spitch because 3 fixtures remain postponed. So there's only 7 games to choose from, which means less players are available. So we're going to have to get our thinking caps on for this one. But if you want a little bit of a tester before the weekend, before the Premier League, the big one, when the Hammers Chat League kicks off again, the perfect opportunity is to get involved with the Europa Conference League competition on Spitch. The app is free to download. It's free to sign up, and a lot of the games, including this one, is completely free. Now, there's no cash prizes up for grabs for the Europa Conference League game. Don't let that put you off. On the bottom tab, click lobby at the top, go down to Conference League, get your team submitted, get used to the point scoring on Spitch, get used to the fact that there's no budget, well, there is, but you can go over or under, and get yourself prepared for the weekend, because when we do the preview for the Everton game, I'll be revealing my team that's going to beat Gonzo's team in the Premier League. But thanks to Spitch for the sponsor. Link in description. Please use that to get it downloaded. Now, Gonzo, I guess this game's quite useful, I think, because we obviously didn't play last weekend against Newcastle. That was postponed. So I think having this game, I imagine Moyes is quite thinking, I'm glad I've got this, actually, just to get the match sharpness up ahead of the weekend.
Yes and no. I think we were lucky in as much as we've had this game in there. So even if the weekend games hadn't gone ahead, we would have had something to keep out. I think where he's lucky is if there'd have been no weekend fixtures, he might have been forced to play all his favourite players, if you like, in this game to keep match sharpness up. Now, don't get me wrong, I think we should very much take this seriously. I think the worst thing we can do in this game is, for instance, say, okay, right, well, let's play Dawson alongside Ogbonna and we'll do all this, and we'll play Coventry alongside Flynn Downs, and that's the way to lose this game. But I also, by the same token, don't think we should be playing Paqueta, Souček, Declan Rice, and doing all that sort of stuff as well. So I think there's a blend. So that's what I think it's allowed him to do, is not use this as a fitness exercise, actually, because he's still got the game. They'll have had the real benefit of spending all that time on the training pitch, actually. And I don't think there's enough time for the fitness to have dropped off that much. And actually, I think this is really, really going to benefit us, because we were speaking, how many times we already said it this season, with the 2 games a week, he hasn't got time. He wants to do these new tactics. He hasn't got time to implement these in the players, because would you get 1 or 2 half training days a week when you're playing twice a week if you're traveling? This has allowed him, I'd imagine, a good 4 or 5 solid days on the training pitch, and I think we'll see the results of that. But for this game, I'd still mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, whilst it was uncertain if the Everton game was going ahead, I was starting to feel a bit sorry for Silkeborg, actually, because I thought, you're going to feel the full force of this. You're going to come up against our first 11 here. Moyes might as well unleash his cup final team. But I think the fact that the Everton game's on is probably good in 2 different ways for us. One, I do think this keeps our match sharpness up. There'll be some players that play on Thursday that will also play on Sunday, and Everton have obviously gone a couple of weeks since their previous game going into this one, where we've had a little bit of something, even if it's just half an hour, even if he throws on I don't know, for example, he's going to play Antonio against Everton. Even if he puts Antonio on for the last 20 minutes, half an hour in this game, just to keep him fresh, hopefully try and get a goal, get his confidence up ahead of Sunday. So I think we've got a little bit of an advantage over Everton to some extent. Thursday night football can often be seen as a hindrance going into the Premier League, but I actually think on this one, and possibly the only time I'll say this, I actually think it might be a massive benefit to have Thursday night football ahead of the Premier League game. But then, because the Everton game is on, it, like you said, it means now, because I'll be honest with you, when we weren't sure Everton was going to go ahead, I thought, oh no, we really gutted for Flynn Downs, puts in a man-of-match performance,
Sure,
and he may not play in the next game. He was guaranteed to start on Thursday, but if Everton wasn't going on, he might come out and Souček partner Rice, because I'd imagine Moyes would put out his strongest team. But now that Everton is on, I think Downs and a couple of others might be thinking, happy days, I'm going to get a game now, I'm going to get more minutes, give a chance to impress, and it gives the likes of Downs an opportunity to cause Moyes a bit of a problem with the Everton team selection. Moyes will probably have most of his starting team in mind, but another man-of-match performance from someone like Flynn Downs, I think he'd be suggesting that, oh, Gaffer, that's two in a row now, deserve to start against Everton. He'd be right. Whether he's done enough to grab a starting spot or not, we'll discuss it in Everton preview. But I think this is a really good sort of set of circumstances. Obviously, the reason for it isn't good, but the fact that, like you said, a week on the training ground as well is going to be rare from here on in. We've got the international break, and then the comeback is pretty much midweek game, and there's now an extra game to possibly try and squeeze in before the World Cup, which is going to be ridiculously tight. So, all that said and done, let's do our starting 11s. Ariel goal.
Yes, indeed, mate. Yes, indeed. Get his pecker up.
Wouldn't mind some options at right back, would we?
Well, I've written down Ashby, and in the hope that he's available.
Have you heard anything? It's just
no,
like
I've thought about it though.
Here we go.
Yeah, he wanted to go to Newcastle. Apparently, Newcastle wanted him. Newcastle were ready with some money. As we don't know how much, but you would imagine more than a tribunal would have paid if his contract expires. I don't know. Make up the figure in your head. 5 million. Let's call it that. Right. West Ham have turned it down. Now, there's only one reason we turn it. What you don't do is turn that down and then not play him. Do you know what I mean? As a punishment. So clearly the intention is to play him. So it must be an injury. So all those conspiracy theories, I think they don't add up for that exact reason, you know. Go on, sorry.
Also, we would just play him in under 21s.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just not play him, like let him rot, would you? You'd still feature him in under 21s, and he's just not there either. He's just completely absent. So I think he's injured. I don't think there's anything to it. I think he's just been out. Hopefully he's back.
Yes.
For this game.
I don't think it's anything massive, because you get the you get the people leak all the news from the hospital stuff, don't they? And you know, when they go to do all that sort of stuff. So I'd imagine not. So I'm going to put in there. If he doesn't play in there, then I would probably put Johnson in there.
Johnson's injured.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, well, still a couple of weeks till you see him, I think.
I'd play Ashby if that didn't work. But I'm gonna stick him in my team. If that didn't work, I wouldn't. I'd have a look at Keira over there actually and see what he's up to. But yeah, I'm gonna put Ashby in the team.
I agree. Ashby for me, if he's fit. If not, it's Soufal, because, well, he's going to be playing against Everton. We need to get his confidence up somehow. We need to get him back in the rhythm, and I think this would be a good opportunity to do that. Moving into the middle of defence, we've got some options. We've got some options at the back now. We've got a fully fit Thilo Keller, who's played quite a lot of minutes for us. We've got an 80% in form Kurt Zuma. We've got a 60% kind of in form Ogbonna. Now we've got a 50% Craig Dawson. I don't know how fit they are, but they're not 100% yet. So how would you like to line up? Because, like I said, you've got 4 senior centre-backs to select from now.
Yeah, but I think regardless of whatever percentage we think Zuma is, I think we both agree it's not 100%. So I'd save him for Everton. I think that has to be the case. I'd put Dawson in for this one, actually. Because for the same reason that we put Ogbonna in, I also think if both Ogbonna and Dawson are fit, I still think Dawson probably gets in ahead of Ogbonna at the moment. So I think it's probably more advantageous and useful to us as a club to get Dawson 100% fit. So I play Dawson alongside Keira.
Yeah, I completely agree, actually. The reason I've gone for Dawson isn't necessarily with a long term thinking like you have. It's just because he needs to play at some point. You can't just keep playing Ogbonna. You've got to get Dawson in there at some point, and I think it's almost what I would call a guaranteed substitution. Ogbonna for Dawson or Dawson for Ogbonna. Whoever
Yeah,
starts, I
yeah.
think, will come off, and the other one will come on at some point. But yeah, I'd get him in there as well because we have missed him. This is going to sound wild, but we've missed him in the box for set pieces. We've been crap at set pieces. I mean, deliveries haven't been up to much, but even when deliveries are good, they're still not as effective as they used to be. And he's by far our strongest player from attacking at that angle. And I think sometimes games like this, it might be decided by something like a set piece. So yeah, I'd have Dawson in there as well. And left back, Cresswell's expected to be fit for this game. So you've got him or Emerson, really.
I'd play Emerson for this one, just want a bit of pace in the team as well. So,
but up against, from what I've seen in the highlights, up against their best player offensively, and he was not up to scratch defensively last week.
no, but I think the same is true of Cresswell, unless Cresswell's playing left centre half. So I think the moment you start to run at Cresswell, I think, as I mentioned a few times, I think when Cresswell's set in his position and we're playing deep, then I think he's fine. It's actually, even improved his positional sense for his heading and stuff like that. The moment you get Cresswell moving, I think he's in a bit of trouble. So I don't think either is an ideal solution there. If that's your main worry, then you'd probably, I know he's not fit, you'd probably stick Johnson there because he's the best defender out of the three of them. But anyway, so I'll play Emerson there for a bit of pace because I do expect to attack them. This is what I want to be doing, and I want to get out of here not only with 3 points, and almost goal difference wrapped up as well. After these 2 games, 6 points on the board, loads of goal difference. Let's get to the knockout stages, and particularly if it is the same thing which you missed the last 32, if you finish group winner, let's like it was with the Europa League. Let's try and do that again. But let's win the group, and it's a really good game to basically put pressure on the other teams.
Yeah, I actually agree with Emerson. I was just asking a question for the sake of show. I think he's got to learn. He has to learn. I think these
punish him.
No, not like that. He's got to
learn.
He's got to learn defensively that you can't just wander off and leave it to the centre backs to deal with. And I'd rather he figures it out in this kind of game than in the Premier League, which is a lot more unforgiving. I think if he's not going to cut it on a Thursday night, then we're in trouble when it comes to a Sunday afternoon in the Premier League up against better players. And a lot of teams' best player plays on the right wing as well in that area. So he's got to play. But last week going forward, I thought he was really good. Just the problem was defensively he was really poor, and we need that attacking threat from the left back area. We need him pushing up the pitch and linking up with whoever's ahead of him. And so Emerson for me. Well, he got 5 out of 5 so far matching. I wonder if we're going to keep this going for the 6. I'm quite confident though.
I think we'll keep it going for the. I think we'll keep it going for the 7. Actually,
I think the next 2 will certainly be matching. And Declan Rice and Flynn Downs.
Exactly right, my friend. Exactly,
it has to be right.
Yeah, of course. So for 2 separate reasons. Downs, he deserves it. He played so well in the first game. Obviously, we started to see a fledgling partnership between the 2 of them as well, which is another reason. But also, I'll just go back to what I said. I really want to win this game. So you want to win a game, you put Declan Rice in there because he's the best player. So I think this all gives him the security as well, Declan, to start marauding forwards and maybe linking up with some of the players that are ahead of him.
Yeah, I completely agree. So take me on to your next player that you're hinting about there, because I think it's the same one as mine.
Pac-Man. Got to be the Pac-Man. If it was later on in the season, it had been a series of 2 games a week, then I maybe would rest him for an easier. Let's just call it an easy European game. Bite me on the arse, wouldn't it? But for a less important European game. But it's not been that. We've not played that. He's not played that much. We've just had a week's rest or a week's training. The fitness levels will be up. There's nothing wrong if you've just had a break before we're playing Thursday and then playing Sunday. That's not an issue at all. I want him, particularly in this game as well, I want him to not showboat, but showcase his skills. Let's see an assist, let's see a goal, let's see some ridiculous skills. Let's Let's get his confidence up, and maybe, just maybe, as such a performance, Everton will be scouting it, because that's what you do. You scout your next opposition. Maybe give them something to think about and think, oh, crikey, we've got to play against him in the upcoming game. So, Paqueta's got to play.
Yeah, he's had a week on the training pitch now, and we need him to be ready to rock and roll on Sunday afternoon. What better way than getting him out on Thursday night around a lot of the players that will play on Sunday? Not everybody, but some will be playing at Goodison Park as well. Also, last week, we were a goal down at half-time, and we had to push that big red alarm button, as I would call it, and make 3 substitutions. I don't want to be in that situation again, so I'd rather start a bit stronger this one, and hopefully your substitutions are to sort of get your better players off the pitch and get some on for a bit of game time and whatever, and not the other way around. I don't like it when you're bringing your best players onto the pitch. It means something's gone wrong, and it did go wrong last week. So we need to be a little bit more careful this time around, take it a little bit more serious. Just 1 or 2 additional players. The team last week should have won. They should have been good enough to beat FCSB in the first half. That wasn't a poor team we put out, but the attitude was poor. The link-up play was poor. Can't have that this week. We need to play a stronger and a better team. I think Paqueta has to start because, well, like I said, we need that match sharpness up a little bit. He's not had loads of football since he's rocked up at us. He played against Chelsea, he was chasing shadows, and then came off the bench at half-time last Thursday. I thought he was all right in the second half, a couple of nice passes, but I felt like that what we saw from him, good glimpses, but if anything, it was evidence. I need a bit of time to settle in and get used to my teammates, so let's get him in for Thursday. That leaves 3 players. I think we're going to have at least 2 matching here. On the right, Jared Bowen.
Yeah.
On the left, Maxwell Cornet.
Yes.
And up front, Scamacca.
Yes.
Full house.
What a great team you've selected there, Geo.
It's all right, thank you. I'm unsure about yours.
Yeah, I know, a bit dodgy. Suspect selections. Look, Bowen. Okay, number 1. I had considered, particularly because I'm playing Ashby there, is of putting Fornals there just to sort of help him out a bit. But I discounted that because I don't think Fornals will get close enough to Scamacca, and that's what I want to see. I want to see the 2 players playing either side of him getting close to him, and I just think Bowen will also help Ashby out, but he'll also try and get close to Scamacca. I also think Paqueta will get close to Scamacca, which is good, and Cornet will get close to Scamacca. There's a lot of people close. It's very, very cuddly in there. He's not going to feel lonely at all, which would be nice. I just think there's a lot of qualities in that front three, which could be very, very hard for. I think that'd be a tricky prospect for a lot of defences. Never mind one that doesn't look all that.
Right, so it's 4 players playing for their places as well on Sunday afternoon. Antonio is starting, as far as I'm concerned, against Everton. Ben Rama's got a start against Everton. Fornals will probably start against Everton and has played well. So arguably, that leaves 1 spot up for grabs, and there's 4 players on the pitch on Thursday night trying to grab it. And obviously, it's probably going to be Jared Bowen, Paqueta's going to want in there as well. So Moyes has got big decisions to make, and like I said, you put them 3 attacking midfielders out there on Thursday and basically tell them there's 1 shirt up for grabs on Sunday. I want to see goals. I want to see creativity. I want to see hard work. I don't want this laid-back attitude. Cornet's expected to be fit. He went off injured last week after getting punched inside the head. Well, I say punched inside the head. He headed the ball out the keeper's hand and got a penalty for it.
And Scamacca kicked him in the face. So I didn't need to bring the sick note in the next day. I would have said, yeah, it's fine. I believe you.
As for Scamacca, you spoke about Cornet and Bowen. As for Scamacca, I probably shouldn't be the one to talk about it, given that I thought he was all right last week, and not many people agreed with me, but okay, I'm sticking with it. I thought he played well. His shooting was crap, but apart from that, I thought he played well. He's had a week now to get over that illness he's had on the training ground. I expect a fit firing and a striker with a point to prove, because last week when he was taking them shots, and there was a couple, that one in particular from 25 yards was a stupid decision to shoot from there. But when he took the shot, you could see his reaction. He was angry. He looked frustrated. You could see him cursing, whether it's himself or his teammates. He was not happy. But I like that attitude a little bit. And that's why I think he was trying too hard at one point to score. He's had a week now. Let's get him back in the team. And if he can carry that little bit of aggression with him, well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be a Silkeborg defender on Thursday night.
You're probably not going to be. In the truth of the matter, you're probably not going to get selected.
Well, I'm hoping that number 4 plays for them, because when I saw the highlights against Anderlecht, he looked crap. No, he conceded a pen, but not even that. At one point, he had the ball at centre back, and it was the most awkward way I've seen a defender play the ball out for quite a while. And they got caught out and sprung a counter attack, and he was just jogging around. I thought, Jesus, he doesn't look up to it. But yeah, so anyway, we've got matching teams. So you feeling confident?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to, even though it's hard. I mean, you feel a bit. At half time last week, you're feeling a bit sheepish about being so confident, aren't you? You're feeling, perhaps I've underestimated them. But I don't think you have. I think you've just overestimated your own team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't care about that. So ever since, I can't even remember, a couple of seasons ago on a video, I predicted we'd win and we'd lose. And someone in the comments said the reason we lost was my fault. Because the opposition had watched the video and listened to my comments, and all they needed to do was play our video in the dressing room. The most preposterous thing, well, actually the second most preposterous thing I've ever heard. But since then, I don't really care much for that stuff.
I'm gonna edit out my praise of Sebastian Jorgensen, because if he gets that played to in the changing room, we might have a little bit of vavavoom about him. I might think,
I'll tell you what, mate. If
people
are playing Hammers Chat videos in the dressing rooms before Premier League and UEFA games, we're doing okay, my friend. But I think they're not. So anyway, no, I don't. I feel sheepish about it. I think we could almost go the other way. What do we do? We'd never predict a win, then, would we? And even if we were playing,
it's not that serious.
The dog and duck, no, the dog and duck. Oh, I don't want to predict a win against the dog and duck in case I look a bit silly. It's not serious. It's a bit of fun. But I also do believe that we'll beat them, just as I believe that we'd beat the Viborg the other day. So it's a good game for us. The timing's good. This has not been a great start to the season, but I think it would have been a whole lot worse. I'm not one of these people who blames the European, and to be fair, I haven't heard lots of people do it, by the way, but I'm not one of these people who blames the European distraction for our poor start to the season. I think that poor start in the Premier League season was happening anyway. I actually think this is our redemption. I think this is our salvation. This is the one thing that's given us a little thing to get excited about, So I'm confident of the win. I think it's really important that we win. I think it's important that we take something into the Everton game, which is huge.
Yeah, I completely agree. I am very confident for this one. I think Moyes, I want to make sure we get the win, and we win against Anderlecht as well, so that actually come match day 5 and 6 of the group, he doesn't have to play Declan Rice and stuff. Moyes will begrudge playing Declan Rice in games like this. He'd probably rather keep him out and leave him for the Everton one, but he realises that he's just going to have to do it, get the points on the board early doors. So we're in a situation like we were in the Europa League group stage last year, where come match day 6, we can completely relax, we can play the kids, we can celebrate the fact that we're able to play the youngsters at West Ham and have a look at them, give them a night to remember as well. And I still really enjoyed that game last week season. Although we got beat, it was good to see the youngsters out there like Baptiste, Elise, Longello. We were in that situation because of what we did in the first 5 games, and I expect that to continue here. I expect a comfortable win, and I know last week was a little bit scary, but I do feel that we were deserved winners in the end, and it was a comfortable victory in the end for West Ham. And in the comments of the review, there was a lot of FCSB fans all saying the same thing as well, which is you won, bit of a soft penalty, but apart from that, you deserve the win. Good luck, kind of thing. So yeah, I am confident because I think Moyes have put out a really strong team, and I think there will be repercussions from the first half last week. I don't think Moyes will let that go going into this one. And also the fact they didn't have that Newcastle game. So anybody that played poorly in that game, like Lanzini, hasn't had a chance to sort of showcase what he can do. And there was a blip. I think we might see that Lanzini not being involved for a few weeks now with the international break coming up and stuff. So yeah, I'm very confident for this one. Can I get any final words as well? All important. Well, not very important. Bit of fun. Score prediction, please.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll do it lopsided. So I'm going to go with 4-0 as a victory. Obviously a victory. I'm not going for the 4-0 defeat. Not so good that. And so you're so shocked. You better be doing a draw or a 1-0 win. All right. If you go 3-0, then you've it lessens the impact of your raspberry. Right. And that's a sentence you never thought anyone would say.
I just didn't expect 4-0. I don't know what I was expecting. Not that.
No. Anyway, 4-0. Mate, you know what? Get there, get back, get the win without any injuries and learn some more about the players. Okay, and I look at I say I look at the team sheet. It's not Moyes' team sheet. It's our team sheet. But I look at our team sheet, and I think, there's some really good positive things that can come out of there. And I look and I see the new players. I see Downs, Paqueta, Scamacca, Cornet, and I think this is really, really useful for them. Even if they don't get selected, Paqueta will. But even if they don't get selected, that they play so well in this that actually, when we get to Everton, Moyes is looking at that bench thinking, I know I've got a load of guys over there who are chomping at the bit and can really impact this game. And I think that's going to be, options on the bench are probably going to be very important against Everton.
Yeah, I think Moyes is also showing this season that he will use substitutions and he will use them early doors as well, if and when necessary. Yeah. He's done it in the Premier League as well, so Europa League. And I think he needs that proof these games to do it for Sunday. Like you said, if Cornet, let's just say Cornet grabs a goal and assist, finds himself on the bench on Sunday, come half time, Bowen or Ben Ram or whatever is playing crap and we're 1-0 down, he might say, actually, I'm going to make my sum now. I'm going to get Cornet on the pitch, because I think that's why Moyes doesn't mind doing early subs now, because if he does 2 subs and he gets them wrong, he's still got 3 left. Whereas in the Premier League, you do 2 subs, you get them wrong, you've only got 1 left to sort of fix it. And I think that's why he's a bit cautious. I'm almost giving them the benefit of the doubt here that this 5 substitution rule, we're going to see a different side to David Moyes this season in the Premier League. But I want headaches for the manager. Thursday night, I want to do the review with you. I want to be praising most of these players, but this is going to sound weird. I don't want to be praising Declan Rice and Thilo Kehrer, because I'm not worried about their form. They're going to start against Everton. Yeah. They're going to be good players to see. I want to be praising Cornet, Scamacca, Emerson. They're the ones I want to see something that actually, when we do our preview, we sit here going, well, do you know what? I think he should start. But only one of them can. And it's a fantastic problem to have. I want Moyes to have Antonio in beast mode from last week and then Scamacca scoring this week. And Moyes is thinking, what striker do I go with? Do I go with the guy who's all-round plays really good, in form, or do I go with my new guy who's scored on Thursday night kind of thing? Brilliant problems to have. I don't want Sunday's team picking itself. That's what I don't want off the back of this. Yeah. Because I think some games last season, especially, 9 players would pick themselves every single week. It was just a case of who's the other 2 this week? I don't mind 4 or 5 players picking themselves for the weekend, fine. But I want the other 5, 6 positions being a little bit up for debate, because there's 2 players in form fighting for that shirt in the team, and it's a good place to be, a different place to be. So I'm going to say Silkeborg 0, West Ham United 2. Don't you even dare do a raspberry. I was waiting for your...
I should have done.
Yeah, you messed that up. Yeah,
I did.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we leave it there, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you enjoyed this preview, do drop a like on and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We'll be live at 6:55 on Thursday night, 8 o'clock kickoff. So we'll be live at 6:55 with our build-up show, where we take a look at their team as well as our team and see who David Moyes is up to for. And perhaps we'll see Lucas Paqueta starting from the off over in Denmark. Catch you in a bit.